I've got a challenge. Let's go in dry with no audio checks.
Oh, okay.
Let's do it.
So we go in now.
Yeah, let's just do it. Let's risk it.
Oh god.
Oh god.
oh.
we're back again. Is this episode 40 now?
Oh fuck! Do you know what? We should have queued up something really amazing for episode 40.
Holy shit balls! It's episode 40.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome to episode 40 of Thors-Kin podcast, where we talk about the male anatomy.
I'm not even going to start joking around with you at the start of this one.
No,
I'm sorry. Last week was fun, but when you start, throwing a random subject out at the start of each week, make sure it's not male anatomy.
It's in the name, buddy. It's episode 40. You need to get with it, man.
I want a new name, goddammit.
I've been trying to get Jimmy to look at it for 40 episodes, and he just still won't. So, Thors-Kin podcast, where we talk about, so what's yours like? Send pictures to Jimmy at... No, we're still here, 40 episodes in, and we're still loving what we do.
Yeah, man.
So
it's a time of the week where everyone needs to get their how to do a podcast wrong manual out and turn to page shut the fuck up because the pros are here, bitch.
And we're still learning, still making mistakes. I made a mistake this week with superhero bar fight. The poll.
Yes. Yes,
I loved
this. I just watched it play out, just like the bit where the Joker's walking away from the hospital and it's blowing up, and you've got I know it's not actually written at that point, but the Michael Caine bit was some people just want to watch the world burn. I just had that in my head as everyone was commenting. It's like, it's Samus, not Metroid.
I know, and I use the Garmy a lot to help me out with the polls, and they're really good over there. So anybody that's affiliated with the Garmy and helps me out with that, I want to say thank you.
Big up, Garmy.
Yeah, Garmy strong, motherfuckers. But listen, that is a worldwide page, right? And so I'll put that on there, and everyone sees that mistake, and everyone comments and sends me shit. It's fun though. I love the banter. I love that. And yeah, I'm sorry, Samus. I did go on a bit of a rampage afterwards, and I apologize for that. I think my comment was something along the lines of, I'm no Metroid, arm like a fleshlight, bucket-headed Nintendo nerd, and that was a bit too much. I was a bit embarrassed, but no.
What's hilarious is that but when you put the polls up, we've already sort of like gone and done it, haven't we? Like we get everything recorded early, and like we were calling Samus all the way throughout it.
Yeah.
And you still go and do it. You're just a retard.
Yeah, I am. It's like me calling Kratos. Some of these characters, the reason we do this is not because we're experts in this, but because we're not.
Exactly.
Like it's always like when I was like Geek Out, and they were doing the Marvel versus DC thing. It was just so amazing to be around people talking about superheroes, and people come up to me and asking for advice on characters that they're not too informed about, and that's great. Being in that environment is fantastic. So like for us to go out and learn about new characters and talk about them, it's an amazing thing. So but thank you for everyone that did vote with the poll for this one, because it was a good one again this week, and we'll get into that again in a bit. We've got a few more shout outs to talk about. First of all, I wanted to so it was Ryan from Sketchy Connections wedding last night, and it was I said I was going to go, and it's like a fair few miles away from me in my car, and I ran into a bit of financial problems. And the problem is I was meant to put some work into my car to try and get it to his wedding, and I got stung financially this month, and so I couldn't put the work in my car. So I had enough money to go grab a bite to eat with my buddy Jimmy yesterday and watch Deadpool, but I couldn't get to the wedding. So I'm really, really sorry about that. And I hope you had a great time, Rye. And I love you. I did message him afterwards, and he says he still loves me. So I felt really bad.
If you miss my wedding, son of a bitch. Priorities, motherfucker. You went and watched Deadpool over coming to my wedding? Son of a prick.
I wanted to give a shout out to my brother as well. I'm going to try and get him on the show. He's got a snowball now, so he's actually a broadcaster. He does a commentary for something called Bofa Racing, and it's a racing simulation. And basically, these people put money into this competition. I don't know if you've heard of this, Jimmy.
No.
It's a racing simulator. Okay, so they race on the PC, but they put money into the tournament. So like the winner actually wins money. It's crazy, and they take it crazy serious. And there's things like they do NASCAR, they do truck racing, they do all sorts. And to be honest with you, I was being a bit mean with it. My brother was like, "Oh, you should listen to me do one of my broadcasts." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna have a listen to this." And he's actually really good. He sounds like a real commentator. He's fantastic. He's got a huge following. And one of his broadcasts actually got 10,000 views. I was like, "You fucker!" Like,
Nice.
So both are racing. If you're into like, it's like watching a real race. I mean, you don't get Formula One as often as you get these both races and stuff. So if you're interested in watching that, go ahead and watch them. So I thought give them a shout out. And one last shout out goes to Agray. He's back. Agray, we missed him, and he sent us some great animation and some great. He did a video of like, it's amazing superhero bar fight with Batman holding Thanos' gauntlet, and you've got like a concoction of Spawn, Deadpool, Thor, and Aquaman, and there's a fire all around in it. It's really cool. I love you, Gray. Thanks for that. And that's it for my shout outs, I think. Right. Was there anything else we needed to talk about?
No, I don't think so. Go straight in big. So got a actual big show full of subjects coming up. We went and watched Deadpool yesterday. So we're going to do a spoiler-free version of this. We might get a little bit spoilery here and there, but generally it'll be spoiler-free. We've got loads of trailers and horrendous Muppet scenes to talk about. We've got Black Ops 4 news. We've got we're going to have a sort of discussion on, because State of Decay's just the Ultimate version has just been released, and normal version's coming out on Game Pass in a few days. So we're going to have a little chat about that, because Alex has been playing about with Game Pass. So we've got loads to talk about. So what do you want to get into first? We're going to go big and just straight into Deadpool 2? Give the people what they pay for?
What we should do first, very quickly, is go over superhero bar fight from last week. Very quickly.
Shit.
Okay, so like I said, we had two fights last week. The first fight we had was the rematch between Wonder Woman and Kratos. Kratos, and then afterwards we did Ezio versus Samus from Metroid. And yeah, so we went into the Wonder Woman Kratos thing last time with a little bit of knowledge, but not enough. This time we went into it with a lot more knowledge, and also the fact that Wonder Woman lost last time, and she's, we thought she'd be frenzied and wanting vengeance.
Yeah.
And the polls were very close. Like, we had 52% for Kratos and 48% for Wonder Woman.
Oh, nice. So yeah, I think, to be honest, we kind of decided to fuck Kratos up, I think. Like, he really didn't get a punch in. We kind of just made him some obnoxious shit father where his son was just fucking about on the sidelines and he couldn't really do anything. His lack of a jump button, because, his new game fucked him over, basically. So yeah, I was quite interesting to see that come so close.
Well, the one thing that I've picked up from the new God of War game is how often he says "boy," because his son's distracting him or doing something ridiculous. So, like, we thought we'd play on that, and that'd be the reason why he died. So that was great. So Wonder Woman took that, but the polls are great for that, because it was undecided. And then the next one was it wasn't very fair, really, but we had Ezio versus Samus.
That's why they come up with the phrase "luck of the draw." That literally applies.
I can imagine Ezio going, I'm against the who? Who am I fighting? Yeah, sorry, buddy. But yeah, again, they all agreed with us. 63% for Samus and 37% for Ezio.
That's a lot for Ezio, to be fair. Like, let's face it, the guy's got hidden blades and he's going up against, like, a super robot woman Iron Man suit with an arm cannon.
Yeah, and I mean, how many votes did he actually get? He got 25 votes, so that's a lot of people that love Assassin's Creed. The Apple of Eden, I think if he'd have had it from
Apple of Eden.
Piece of Eden.
The piece of apple. Oh, God, please pick up on this, people, and give him more shit.
Yeah, so later on in the week, we've got fights 7 and 8, is it?
So, yeah, I think so, 7 and 8.
I'm not going to
Yeah, I was going to say I have no idea who that is at this stage. We've already drawn it. I'll bring it up now.
We'll bring something to you in the week.
Yeah, there'll be an episode of Summon, maybe. Perhaps.
It's doing really well.
Depends.
People love superhero bar fight. There are people that listen to superhero bar fight that don't listen to Thors-Kin. That's crazy. Oh, my toe!
It's because I do the intros.
Yeah.
That's what it is. People love the welcome, everybody, to another episode of Superhero Bar Fight. Right, so anyway, I've brought up the list. We've got a freaking huge fight coming up. We've got Hulk versus Shazam coming up on Wednesday, and we've got Geralt the Witcher versus Lara Croft on Thursday.
Wow.
Big week.
That Hulk fight.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, Hulk's having performance problems at the moment.
Don't you dare make him lose because of Infinity War. How dare you? The Hulk wins this tournament.
Well, we all know what electric can do to your body parts. So, anyway, moving on. Get on with the show. Deadpool 2.
Yeah, man. So we went to watch Deadpool 2 yesterday. Beaming sunshine, so we decided to spend it indoors.
And that shocked me a bit, actually. I said to my wife, it's brilliant weather out there, and the cinema was quite full. And I was like, it just goes to show, like, how many nerds there are in Shrewsbury. Would prefer to sit and watch Deadpool 2. I bumped into someone I knew from Geek Out as well. That was nice to see. It was really good. A good day yesterday. We had a proper double date, didn't we? It was really
good. Overall, I loved Deadpool 2. So before we start, we are going to do it spoiler free, 99% spoiler free. A few bits might slip out, but they're not going to be spoilers. They're just going to be sort of like turns that the plot takes without destroying any actual twists. Generally, I came out loving it.
I liked it. I really did like it. It didn't live up to my expectations, but that's not saying it's not a good film. I think there's a certain thing with both Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. It just feels, it's got a weird feeling about it. You know, when they're walking around the X-Men mansion and, you know, you've got the odd X-Men character. It just feels weird.
It feels like a semi-licensed version, like Ryan Reynolds has managed to pester them for so many years to make it. And the thing is, that's exactly what Deadpool is. Yeah. That's why it's like this standalone thing where he's managed to get the studio to say, yes, you can make more stuff, but it's not completely tied in. But the thing is, there was enough of that within this film, I felt, that if you take Deadpool 1 and then Deadpool 2, like, if there's going to be a third, which Ryan Reynolds has said, like, whether it's just to throw people off or not, I don't know, but he said, like, there's only so many times you can build a character up and break him down, because Deadpool needs that to function properly. He doesn't know whether you can get away with doing that a third time, so we might not get a third, but the way that the film kind of ended, I think we quite easily could.
I feel like we could do with him breaking the barrier and ending up sort of making an appearance in the MCU somehow. You know they can do it, and
I don't think they need to. I think what they need to do is, well, I say that, but Disney have got the rights to back to everything now, haven't they?
On most things, yeah. It would be really good. I mean, even if it was just a standalone Avengers movie, if Deadpool made an appearance, that'd be really good. Like a Spider-Man movie. We all know that Deadpool's got a bit of a crush on Spider-Man. So, like, can you imagine him just turning up in the new Homecoming movie or the new sequel? That'd be quite cool.
I think what they need to do is kind of keep where they've got X-Men and Deadpool separate, like X-Men and X-Force. This is what I was just about to get at, is that I quite like the idea of keeping that separate because the timelines are also a little bit separate traditionally. Like, they've got the timelines where, you know, Wolverine's in the Avengers and stuff like that, but it all takes place in the future, or is supposed to. I quite like the idea of when I walked out of Deadpool 2 and we'd seen a lot more characters. We saw a very big, both figurative and literally, character from X-Men in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, let's not spoil who it is.
But
all I'll say is it'll blow your mind.
Yeah, it's a big character, and then lots of other little characters that people might not know of, but they're sort of X-Force characters. I came away feeling like it was a better X-Men film than the X-Men films, and like if you all you had to do is throw in like X-Force Wolverine. They've got Cable, they've got Deadpool, they've got a few others which I won't spoil. They could have like such a solid cast, and they could have X-Force as its own like a mature X-Men franchise.
Yeah,
like,
I like that.
They're one step away from it. There was another character that I was sat here thinking like, who the frig else is in X? They've got most of them already. Anyway,
all I'll say is before this film was released, I remember that Domino getting a lot of shit because they made changes to the character. She's meant to be white, right? Is she meant to be white?
Yeah, she's supposed to be white and really pasty with like a blue splodge on her eye.
And it's obviously a black lady, and she looked a lot different, but she's fucking awesome. Don't let any of that shit scupper the way you feel about that character. She is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I've kind of got like a weird Domino crush watching that film. I was like, damn, she hot. Even with a little eye thing going on. Yeah, the thing is, stuff like that's more more believable, because like you've got someone with black skin, and you've got like a skin thing going on around the eye where it's like a blotch thing. Yeah, like a birthmark. It made sense because it was like, well, people look like that sometimes. like people get patches on their skin like that, and it kind of just made the character literally you could like real. Basically, it wasn't like, oh right, so you've clearly been in like makeup department for 3 hours.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have looked right if it was like some person with a green suit. Like the other character as well, the alien from another planet. I don't know what he's called. I don't know the X-Force characters well enough, but he was over the top because of that very reason. It's like, you look stupid, you don't go. Deadpool in this should be the most outlandish thing.
It reminds me very much of Nolan's Batman. You know how everything has a reason for the way it is?
Yeah.
But I don't like that. I mean, I get it's great that there are aliens in it, because, of course, it's part of the Marvel Universe and stuff. There are aliens in it. But I like things being over the top. I like Deadpool being over the top. And I like being... For fuck's sake, the guy meets, like, he's obsessed with the lady personification of death, like, you know. And he's got this... in the comic books, he's got this huge... competition with Thanos to try and win over Death's affections, you know.
Yeah,
I like that. And also as well, like, talking about Thanos, Josh Brolin is great in it.
I was just going to say,
badass.
Yeah, let's get some structure to this shit. So the first and biggest part of this film is Cable, the best X-Men character apart from Deadpool or Wolverine. Is Cable. I don't care what anyone says. All of you Gambit people can go suck a dick. Cable is just a badass motherfucker. Josh Brolin is... He must have made some serious dollar bills, y'all, this year.
Yeah. And I saw him on Graham Norton with Ryan Reynolds, obviously pushing the movie.
Yeah.
And they were saying he fucking beasted it to get to that shape. Into that shape. He's got his 50, like, you know, it's been a few years since Goonies. The guy is a beast. And, you know, to get into that kind of shape, you know, you have to really train. And there's loads of videos online of Ryan Reynolds and Josh Brolin kind of working out together and that to get into shape. But I feel like Ryan Reynolds doesn't have to do much to train. I feel like he
just gets out of bed.
He looks at a dumbbell and there you go. There's another pec or another six pack. Another pec. He's got 3 pecs, guys. Go on.
All I was going to say is anyone who says that Marvel can't do villains is just like, this year they have nailed it, and it's nice to see the MCU and the Fox side of things, like both sides of the Marvel licenses, actually nailing a villain for once.
Yeah.
And I won't go into too much spoilers with like Cable's role throughout the film, but the first parts where Cable is like completely badass. Well, say the first parts, the whole film he is, but particularly the first parts where he's like beating the shit out of Deadpool. Just flat out fucks him up.
And the basic premise of the film is, without going into spoilers, is there's a kid that Deadpool has to protect from Cable. Yep. And Cable, being the hot-headed, tempered motherfucker that he is, he just goes all in. A few times in the movie, he goes after him, and he causes chaos everywhere he goes with his toys and his technology, and he's a cyborg, so he can break through shit and blow stuff up. And there's a few times where Deadpool's like, "This gun is fucking awesome!" He manages to pick up a few of his, and expect more of the same as what you had in Deadpool 1 with this movie. Very similar jokes. TJ Miller was the only negative thing. I can't stand that guy.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more. Everything is like forced improv. It's like at that point they go, "Hey, TJ Miller, do some of that improv that you do. It'll be classic." And it's like, "You look like an avocado. Fuck the doorknob." It's like, "Oh, really? You're doing that joke again?"
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah, I don't like that guy. I hope it never comes back to Hollywood, if I'm honest, because I don't know why people find him funny. I really don't see what people see in him. I mean, he was good in the first movie, but that was like when he was new and fresh and stuff, and wasn't a fucking idiot.
There was another bit as well. Like, this is my only negatives throughout the whole film was TJ Miller, and then the bit where they went back to the mansion. And I was just like, this is looking, like you said before, very empty and whatnot. And Ryan Reynolds started making the same jokes about the studio throwing him a bone and stuff. And I was like, you are literally doing exactly the same jokes in the first film. But then there's a bit in it that I can't spoil because it's one of the funniest bits in the film. Just as they're leaving the X-Men mansion, there's a bit in it that makes you realize why they put the same joke in it, and it flipped it around. It's like, that it was so clever. I feel like I need to spoil it, but I'm not going to. There's just
don't spoil
some awesome bits in it.
It was one of those moments where you kind of like open mouth and you look at your partner, you're looking around the cinema and everybody's open mouthed looking at it. And you know what? Going back to what you were saying about how this felt more like an X-Men movie than the X-Men movie, there was one scene where the X-Men turn up every fucking week. That goes up on silent. You go. I'm sorry. They turn up to an event that's happening, and you see the jet just come in, pan around, and then land. That felt so X-Men like. It's like, we're here to save the day. It's
exactly. And like, if you threw Cyborg, fucking hell, Cyclops, yeah. If you threw Cyclops, Wolverine, and Beast in there, you've just got the best cast ever. Like, that's what you don't need. All the other like Toad and Sabretooth and all of that kind of, like the people who were big in the TV series and the comic books. Yeah, okay, but they don't translate great on screen. Like, the people like Beast, Wolverine, Cyclops, Deadpool, Colossus, Gambit, and if you threw Cable, Gambit, I meant Cable, and threw Gambit in there as well. Like, that's all the important characters. That's all you need.
I think they're learning now. They're learning, aren't they? Because what they've done is, in a few years that they've been making these superhero movies, they started off making them how they wanted.
Yeah.
And they were making money, but not like what they're making now. And the reason they're making the money they're making now is because they're giving people what they want. Mm-hmm. People have been crying out for Wolverine in a yellow and black suit for fucking donkey's years. If you give people that, you're going to make money. If you're going to give a proper X-Men, like, I'd love fuck the movies. Let's make an X-Men series with a full A-list cast.
Oh,
with the sort of,
can you imagine?
Yeah, with the kind of money that they make with like Stranger Things, or the kind of CGI they use with Game of Thrones, you'd be fucking raking it in.
Yeah, absolutely. And
not just like on a month where you release it as well, like with Infinity War. Like, they're making money, but it's like a one-off kind of thing until it's released on DVD or Blu-ray again. And then, if you make a series, you can run it on any fucking network and make $1 million bill, yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah.
Go. So I've got bits that are coming back to me as well.
I'll save what I was going to say to the end. Go on.
So the bit at the end where Deadpool gets slightly fried a little bit by some fire. Trying not to be spoilerific here. Did you get the reference of why his suit went grey?
No.
That is X-Force, basically. So Wolverine's X-Force suit is grey. Everything is grey with the X on it, basically, in X-Force. So I think what that was like, that's his moment where he got redeemed, because the whole film is him trying to redeem himself for something. And that moment is him redeeming himself and being the X-Force leader. So that's what that reference was all about, him sort of like getting his grey suit. That's an awesome moment.
That's another good point to bring up as well. You brought me up to where I was going to talk, what I was going to talk about. And it was basically that they added a certain amount of vulnerability to Deadpool in this movie. He's easy to kind of, like, we always talk about him on Superhero Bar Fight, how he's very difficult to kind of kill, but he's very easy to kind of to stop for, you know what I mean? Like, you could blow him up and then walk away, and it would be like a 2 weeks or so that he would regenerate.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil certain parts of the movie, but they very much incapacitate him very easily.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a shocking thing for me, and like, I think it was because I'm used to Deadpool getting his own way so much that when you see him become like very vulnerable, it's kind of a huge shock to the system.
Yeah, but I don't think they did it in a bad way at all. I think they basically just they played some Tomb Raider badly, realized all the ways in which Lara Croft can die, and they were like, "Oh, we should do that." Basically, It was just like they sort of like just put him through absolute hell in this film. But that's part of the magic about Deadpool, that you can do that, and he just keeps coming back and coming back and coming back. He's just like an STD to the bad guys, isn't he? You can't fucking shake him. He's just there being a nuisance constantly. But
also, go on, sorry.
No, go on.
I was going to say a huge shout out to Julian Dennison, who played Russell as well. He was in Hunt for the Wilder People. He's a fucking great kid. A great kid. He plays very much a similar character that he played in Hunt for the Wilder People. Angry South. Was he New Zealand?
New Zealand. That was surprising, because like, whenever I get a kid in films, it's like, you can act all right, but you're doing kid acting. Like, he was actually quite good. Like, he was like unhinged, and you didn't actually trust him. You didn't like, oh, what's the kid actor gonna do at this bit? It was like, oh, right, okay, he's a bit crazy, and he's really fucking dangerous.
Yeah, he is. And if you want a kind of prequel to Deadpool and you want to know what this kid, I really do. I've said it before. Go and watch Hunt for the Wilder People, because he's fantastic in that. What does he say? The Crook's life didn't choose me. No, what does he say? I didn't choose the Crook's life. The Crook's life chose me. He's like, he probably wants to be a gangster, little fat kid in a tracksuit. He's fucking awesome. He swears. He's awful in it, but great at the same time.
He reminded me so much of Rebel Wilson, though. Just,
like... Yeah, he does. That's a great shout. That's great, Rebel Wilson.
But yeah, the characters. Oh, the plot as well. Like the actual story of Deadpool 2. There's some deep underlying reasons why people are doing what they're doing, and that was great. But it was like the top layer of the plot was just Terminator, and they acknowledged that it was just Terminator, and they acknowledged the moments where, like, if there was loopholes, there was Ryan Reynolds just like, well, that's just lazy writing. That's what I love about Deadpool, is that we were saying this the other week about it's some little twists and things in Infinity War that you're like, but you shouldn't just accept that with a big film. Like, put them under pressure, make them answer those questions. With Deadpool, I don't give a fuck. If they want to make a joke about a huge plot hole, then that's it. Like, that plays into what Deadpool is, and like, I think they absolutely nailed every funny moment except TJ Miller, every plot moment, every character was used to first, they had better characters, and every character was used brilliantly. Like, they didn't waste anyone. And
I think that's because of the success of the first movie. I think that was the prototype. I was like, let's just see how this does, and then we'll give you a bit more to play with, you know?
This is what I was thinking, like, with they could bring in a Wolverine, and it doesn't even need to be Hugh Jackman. Like, they could bring in a Wolverine, and they could have a moment where Deadpool's like, I know, guys, I'm sorry to disappoint you, it's not Hugh Jackman, but trust us, by the end of the film, your opinion is going to be changed. This guy does some awesome shit. And that would be like, Deadpool could just get away with that, and they could bring in a new Wolverine through Deadpool, because Ryan Reynolds could get away with being like, just shut the fuck up being fanboys, let someone else take a shot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And, you know, this is a perfect segue into what I was going to talk about at the end of this, was that, you know, I was talking about how they could introduce like Deadpool into the MCU and push him back. You know, they could move him around. Is the fact that he's got that fourth wall barrier breaker, you know, where he can do ridiculous shit. He could be like, oh, so bright in here. It's so colorful. Like, you know, you step into it and be like, you know, it can bump into Thor and be like, hi, Chris, how's it going? Like, you know, it'd be so good to see that, and I think people would pay to see it. They'd pay a lot of money to see it. You know, like what I was saying about if they did suddenly go out and be like, right, here's the brand new X-Men, and in the MCU, like you just said, they could cast anyone, and Deadpool can be the kind of the concierge.
And the thing is, if with a bit of clever dialogue, you could get it where, because people would be like, oh no, you can't have, yes, Deadpool breaks the fourth wall, but not when he's next to Iron Man. Like, that doesn't go. But you could get it where it's clever, where he's not looking at the camera, and it's dialogue is breaking the fourth wall, but it's not at the same time. He's like speaking to the cast, but tongue in cheek, so everyone else knows what he's on about, but he's not ruining that immersion for the people who don't want Iron Man, Thor, and Guardians to be breaking the fourth wall. They could so easily do it. So I hope they sort of they do put more characters in it, because Deadpool 2, all around, both comedy, plot, the way they use the characters, where it's going from here, I think nailed it. I think it was heads and shoulders above the first one. Not that the first one wasn't brilliant, but I just think this was better in every way.
But what I will say is, don't let this put you off from going to see it, because it is fantastic. This is my opinion only. There are a couple, like you've already mentioned it, there are a couple of eye rollers, like one-liners that I kind of like, oh really? Did you just say that? And there's a bit of like samey with the jokes, but in a good way. You know, this do a lot of the same jokes. There's a lot of the same humor, and there's some jokes that kind of just drag on, but then they get straight into the action, and then it becomes really good again. So it doesn't really bother you. But you know, it's something that I picked up that I think they could have cut a bit out of that, and it wouldn't have mattered. You know, but
the best thing in the entire film to me, and I know you hated it, was the parachuting scene.
Let's not spoil that, but the parachute scene will have you going, what? What? Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so yeah, definitely go watch Deadpool 2. Some of the other bits that I'm quite excited to see, except Deadpool, are the couple of the trailers that have come out this week. What was the one with the Muppets I want to go into first? What was that called? Something the Happy Murders.
Happy Town Murders.
Happy Town Murders. Oh, Jesus Christ. Deadpool needs a puppet in this shit as well.
Yeah, it was fucking... it completely threw me off guard. I saw this trailer, and I saw the Muppets. I thought I had an inkling it was going to be it wasn't going to be Muppets, because you know it's Happy Town Murders. When does Sesame Street ever go, oh, today we have a murder?
Big Bird's got his head chopped off.
The word of today is murder. M-U-R-D-A-H. Murder. Yeah, so this completely threw me off guard, like I said, and it's fucked up. First of all, it's given me a whole new level of respect for Melissa McCarthy, because I thought she was getting... I love Melissa McCarthy. I don't care what people say about her. I didn't like Ghostbusters. Put that out there. We all know that. But as far as she's concerned, I thought she was getting very samey, that kind of really clumsy humor that she's really good at, but it's like I said, she's done it so many times.
Yeah.
It's so great to see her let loose and be very R-rated and what the fuck, motherfucker, and all that stuff. You know, that's really great. So that's the best thing about this.
Yeah, so a Muppets film where people are getting blown up with shotguns, and I love that. I hate films with Muppets in it. I'm just putting that out there. Like, some people like find them really charming. My girlfriend loves Muppets Christmas. I can't stand it. I just don't get the charm behind it. There's why? So what? It's a Muppet. It's just someone with their hand inside a teddy bear.
I liked them as a kid.
I was like, yes, give me more of this. This is a whole genre that needs to come to light. Like, give me Muppet death films. I just loved it. I just wanted to go straight and watch it there and then.
It's been done before. It's been done before with a cult classic of Team America. They took the classic Thunderbirds puppets and they created. I love Team America. It's one of those things that I can watch every now and again, but it's got some classic moments in there. Matt Damon and all the stupid kind of humor they brought. I love that.
I think I'm the only person in the world who thinks Team America is the biggest pile of shit ever. I didn't even like it when it came out. When everyone was raving about it, I was like, this isn't even good.
It was one of the first times, because I love South Park, but it was similar kind of humor, but done in a different way, if that kind of makes sense.
Yep.
And it made me realize from a young age that I was going to be a sadistic motherfucker with my humor, because they were straight up just taking the piss out of people left, right, and center in that movie.
Yeah.
The whole of America, they were taking the piss out of them.
Yeah.
And I loved that for that. But it was that same kind of thing. They took a concept and they gave it an homage, by making it, but also took the piss at the same time.
Yeah.
The sex scene.
Yeah.
The sex scene was just was banging against each other. It was awesome. And so they've done the same thing with the Muppets.
I think a lot more films need to start taking this tongue-in-cheek attitude. Like, that's what comedy should be to me. Not this whole Melissa McCarthy, TJ Miller, like, have a moment improvising. Like, sometimes improv can do wonders. Like, Thor Ragnarok was improvised nearly start to finish. But this whole, like the Bridesmaids crew, where they talk over each other and they try to talk faster than each other. It's like, no, I don't like that weird turn that comedy started taking since Melissa McCarthy's crew started coming on board comedy. The tongue-in-cheek, over-the-top violence where they're like, they know how ridiculous it is as a film, as a writer, as actors. That, to me, I get a lot more enjoyment out of that personally. But another one that you showed me just before we came on the podcast is one that I have zero interest in, but I know you want to talk about it, is Mr. Robot.
Are we not going to talk about the jizz in silly string moment in the Happy Town Murders trailer? Oh, go and watch the trailer. It's fantastic, kids, man. Go and watch that shit. Bohemian Rhapsody is a film that... Okay, so first of all, Freddie Mercury, he's both...
Spoiler alert, he's dead.
He's underrated. I mean, but he isn't. Like, he's a genius in music. I love Queen, and it's one of the bands that I'm not too ashamed to tell people I listen to. I love fucking Queen, like, and they've made the biopic movie Bohemian Rhapsody, starring Rami Malek. I'm racist. Rami Malek. He's going to be playing Freddie Mercury. He was in Mr. Robot. And he fucking looks like him, man. He does. He's done a brilliant job.
Some bits, yeah. Some bits were like, oh, wow, that's quite close.
There's nobody on this planet that looks more like him than he does.
If you want to watch someone who looks like the person they're playing, is watch the Tupac film, All Eyes on Me. Holy shit.
Or Straight Out of Compton. That kid looks like his dad, doesn't he? Yeah. I saw the trailer. And it shows you what music can do to a trailer or a movie. Like, they start talking, and you hear that dun dun dun, another one bite the dust, and straight away I was bought into it. And it just shows you how their music was built up and how big they became. And Queen were a phenomenon; they were huge, Yeah. And all I'll say is that this trailer has given me more interest in this movie than the original idea. When it comes to biopics and things like that, I'm not really too interested.
The thing is, with biopics, it's whether you're interested in them. Like, the two things that I just referenced there, All Eyes on Me and Straight Outta Compton, and the one that was actual... it was Biggie's one as well. I can't remember what that one was called. I like them because I like that music. So I wanted to see that people's takes on it. And yes, it's always like dramaed up and Hollywoodized and all of that kind of shit, but to me, I like some some Queen stuff. I do, but I just don't have any draw to go and watch a documentary about them personally. Okay. But that's a me problem. What I'm getting at is that if you are into that, then this looks like it's going to be right up your street.
I think Rami's going to do a really good job with this. I think he's going to win an Oscar. I'm going to put that out there now. I think he's going to win an Oscar for this movie. Yep. I will enjoy it. Guaranteed I'll enjoy it. There's been so many that have come out about the Beatles, about the Stones, about this, that, and the other that I've not been really kind of interested in. This one I am. I'm also interested in the Elton John one that they're thinking about making at the moment. And that's because they're going to get Aaron Egerton out of Kingsman to play Elton John, which of course if you've
No, I'm not. I literally, using the same principle of what I just said, I could not give two shits about an Elton John film, but if he's in it, I just want to see what he can do, because he is a fantastic actor.
Have you seen Sing, the animated movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an Elton John song in that. It was thriller. And he can sing, man. Yeah. He can fucking sing. So that'll be really good. And I'd love for them to do... I know we've got documentaries and stuff, and then a lot of people will be like, oh, fuck off, man. We've got a lot of US listeners. They probably won't understand. But I'd love to see an Oasis biopic movie. I would love to see that, because their story's fantastic. You know, the fights they had, the story behind their dad, the sudden rise of fame, which was, you know, hugely thanks to China and Japan. They were massive over there, which launched them around the world.
I'd like to see
around the world
more than any an Eminem biopic movie, but not one where Eminem is doing it and he's being Jimmy Rabbit, like him but not him. Do you know what I mean?
Don't you fucking say bad shit about 8 Mile. I love that film.
No, I love it, but what I'm on about is I'd love to see a proper biopic take on actual Eminem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so that's Bohemian Rhapsody. What else have we got to talk about, man?
I don't know whether you want to move on, because time's ticking. Do you want to move on to all the gaming stuff? Move on to the next big story?
Shall we fist fuck Black Ops 4? Because I'm sorry, but we need to get into this shit, and we need to get into it hard, because I'm not happy.
What the fuck is this all about? Seriously. A full-priced game, and they're removing single player. Single player takes up like nearly 80% of the cost that it takes to make a game, which means basically all they're doing is taking the Black Ops 3 model that they had for multiplayer, giving it the tiniest lick of paint that you have ever seen in your life. Black Ops 3 was already a decent looking game. This just looks a little bit more decent. It doesn't look anything more special. It's still got the janky animations where a soldier takes 3 steps forward, but his like feet are gliding across the floor, so it looks like he's fucking being held in midair, like he's fucking got lag.
It's like a DLC for Black Ops 3.
It is.
Exactly what it looks
it's like Black Ops 3 came out with a Rainbow Siege DLC. It's like, oh, you like all of that putting shields down and putting fortifications up, do you? Well, we can do that. Here's your monthly drop of operators. Give us another season pass. No, I cannot physically support something like this at all.
I'm not going to buy it. My wife really wants it. We're going to probably break up about this. We've bought every single COD game since. I've said this before on the show, but the first was Black Ops 1, and from Black Ops 1 onwards, we bought every single COD game.
Yeah.
Apart from Infinity War, which was
Infinity War. Oh yeah, no, Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare. Sorry, my bad.
Can you imagine that? Are you saying that? Irony, it's kind of like Thanos has just gone, and half of your game's dead.
That's great. Oh my god.
That needs to become a meme right now. Fuck Infinity War.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to die here. I got tears coming down my face. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna buy this shit. It looks awful. I don't care if it's got battle royale. I've never played a battle royale game. I probably will do and like it. It moves the same way as the music industry. It looks at what's popular and what the kids are buying these days, and then it moves in that direction. So they've gone. The money is player unknown. That's what they're doing right now. They're killing it at the moment.
Fuck that. The money's in Fortnite.
Exactly.
They're the
player
ones.
unknown, isn't it?
No. Yeah, same principle, but Jesus Christ, Fortnite has destroyed that game. No one's fucking playing PUBG compared to that anymore. But if anyone's going to do a good take on it, it could be Call of Duty. But my issue is with it is them stepping away from single player. I just think I just can't get my head around the balls that it takes to do that, to fist fuck consumers like that, and people will still go out and buy it.
They've done it before with Titanfall. That was another one that really divided.
That was different. So with Titanfall, you had a new studio with some of the Call of Duty people. So new studio, all they could do is get one licensing deal. PlayStation turned them up, didn't want it. Xbox was there, and right, bring it over here. That, to me, when your first game comes out and it doesn't have a story, I thought that would have been Titanfall there moving forward. Same as Rainbow Siege. That's the game. That's if you don't have that from the beginning and you've got enough content around it, then fair enough. But Call of Duty, it's always been single player campaigns in it. And it's the fact that you're still going to charge the same amount and you're not actually going to make any improvements. You're not coming up with anything unique. You're copying ideas. As Admiral Akbar would say, it's a cash grab. It's just fucking ridiculous.
But it's the opposite of a cash grab, though, because you're giving people less for their money. But like you said, people are still going to buy it. But I looked at the threads that are coming off the advertisements from Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people that are slamming it. Like, I'm not buying this shit. It looks exactly the same.
They're all going to be in the stores making it rain come November.
Back to exosuits. Don't like that stuff. Like World War II, I think was groundbreaking. I thought it was a fantastic game. I still play it, and I probably am going to carry on playing it. But what I noticed was, and you may have noticed from my Facebook, because I know you like to stalk me every now and again, is that that Call of Duty, they are only answering people that were talking positively about the game. They would like comment on somebody else saying, "Oh, this looks amazing." No. They're not speaking to people that are going to be difficult with them. And that's like a press thing, isn't it? So they can screenshot that and say, we answer our fans. But you're not answering the difficult questions. I get that these games take a while to make, and this is the thing that was brought up before about modern World War II. But nobody likes the exosuits. Nobody likes them. Like the kids do, I guess.
Here's the thing, right? These games take 3 years to make.
Yeah.
So 3 years ago, PUBG and Fortnite didn't exist. They've copied the battle royale mode. So what was going to be released, the decision was made 3 years ago to just do multiplayer and zombies.
Yeah,
that's what pisses me off. Is that if you look at it, so what? That's all I put my time into anyway. Yeah, fair enough. You cannot argue with that. 99% of the time spent on Call of Duty is in multiplayer. The statistics don't lie. Hardly anyone completes them. Not much more start the campaign. So fair enough. I get the reasoning behind it, but it takes 2 seconds to tack on a battle royale mode. So the decision was made 3 years ago to fuck people over, and that's what pisses me off, is that you make that much money and you've got the engine that you haven't done anything with since 2000 and fucking nothing, and you're still going to sell people at full price. I've heard nothing as yet of a season pass, so that's where my view might change slightly, is if they're going to give everyone multiplayer maps, because there's going to be a few people scooping up them lovely microtransactions, then that's where my sort of like view can change a bit, because then I'll be able to get all of the multiplayer stuff for free. And if that's the trade-off, and it's like, well, I'll play a single-player campaign on someone else, but I still couldn't justify going out and buying it and sending them the message of, you can take that lazy route.
And the thing is, I haven't once played World War II and thought, oh, it'd be so great if I could run along this wall. It'd be so great if I could just jump over this bunker. I've really enjoyed like the dirt blowing up in my face, the blood coming up on the screen, and fighting like furious. You have some amazing moments in that game. And what I get from this is that the people that run Call of Duty are Umbrella Corps, Abstergo, and Hydra.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, the thing is, what's getting me most about it is that at some point, right, they're gonna have to go back modern. At some point, there's gonna have to be a game set back in Iraq or Afghanistan or Russia or something like that, or Syria. And unless this is a one-off and this is just a year where it's like Black Ops is the multiplayer version because people love multiplayer Black Ops, everything else is, don't worry guys, everything else is going to have a story. The idea that they could one day revisit a Modern Warfare story, like not Modern Warfare, but like a new version, like Desert Warfare or something like that, fucking whatever it's called, and not have a story mode to it. Because Call of Duty stories, when they nail them, they nail them. Like, World War II story was fantastic.
It was good. What they need to remember is Medal of Honor was the biggest game out there for this kind of thing, and they're gone now. They disappeared. They're gone. They didn't keep up with the times, and it can happen to anyone. And they need to be careful. I mean, I know there's going to be people pumping money into it, and they've probably looked at the figures, and they're probably listening to this now because, of course, they listen to Thors-Kin thinking, that fat prick don't know shit about computer games. Yeah. I got the figures up on the screen, but, no one's invincible. That's what I'm saying, and they need to start.
The sad thing about it is that I'm hearing what you're saying, but this decision is making them more relevant. Getting rid of the single player because 99% of the time put in is multiplayer, putting Battle Royale because it's a craze, it's going to do nothing but make them more relevant. It's just one of those things where I'm looking at it thinking, oh, is this what's happening to first-person shooter gaming now?
I just don't want people to get me wrong either. Like, I'm not going to say all first-person shooters now need to be World War II. That's it from now on. Like I said, they are making amazing advancements in equipment that they're giving to soldiers these days. They're making so many things like the drones we've been talking about, and this, that, and the other bits of kit that they can use. Are the new advances in Kevlar and bullet rifles that can fire around walls and stuff like Elon Musk type shit. Like, let's do that. Like, that's a great idea. I don't like the whole exosuit things are just getting a bit like samey now, very much the same as like World War II has been samey for the last 20 years, Let's do something new but different.
Quick one before we get on to the next sort of like subject is just to throw it in there while we're on the subject of first person shooters. Battlefield 5, or using the initial V, just do you think they're going to go back to modern? Do you think V is going to be for Vietnam?
They've hinted at it. They've said they're going back modern, but they said, I think the tagline was, we're going back to modern warfare, but how far?
Vietnam then, basically. V for Vietnam, 1 for World War One, and then next year there'll be Battlefield 2, and it'll be World War 2, and that will be after Black Ops. Everyone will be like, yeah, DICE, listen, bro.
I think if anyone was going to go down the battle royale mode, Battlefield have already got the infrastructure there. They got the big maps. They could do that, and they could blow PUBG out the water if they wanted to, because they've got the better physics engines. They've already got it there. I'm surprised, in fact, that they haven't already done something.
Apparently, this one will.
Yeah.
Apparently they're doing it as well. And the thing is, when Fortnite and PUBG has started all the shit off, and then Call of Duty and Battlefield come along, just like, hold my beer, son.
Okay, let's move on. What we got to talk about next?
Game Pass, bitch. So State of Decay is getting, well, Ultimate version's just been released. The normal version is a few days away. 27th, I think it is, something like that, 22nd, whatever it is. State of Decay 2 is going to be awesome if you like State of Decay 1. Did you play number 1?
No.
360 arcade game, janky as shit, buggy as hell, but the game mechanics in it were beyond addicting. Like, you could sit down and you could play weeks, basically living out 3 seasons of The Walking Dead without even realising you hadn't gone to sleep. It's just base building mechanics, it's personal relations with survivors, it's permadeath, so you build up a character, get abilities, do personal stories, get over their problems and their issues that they have because they're struggling with the apocalypse, only to get fucking pulled apart, and you're just like, oh shit. But it's not one of those games that you're like, oh, hit my last save point because I actually like that character. You can't do that. It's, oh shit, we lost Billy. We fucking lost Billy, man.
Is it like Ark though, where if you die, you die?
Right, so no, it's a community game, so there is no one player. You'll start off a community with a couple of people, and you can bring people in, and you can swap at any point. Anyone that I don't know whether the same mechanic's going to be with number 2, but the way number 1 worked is once you made friends with that person, so you could have 10 people in the community, 7 of them are friends, and 3 of them are new. They're not trusted yet, so you can't control them. Once you get them past that threshold where you can control them, you can switch between any of them. So once you've exhausted one person, you can move on to the next. So you've constantly got a cycle of people to upgrade. People are constantly dying, getting sick, going out on missions and dying and stuff like that. And it's you know, a couple of weeks playtime in, you might only have 3 of the initial 10 people that you started with, but they're going to be like your souped up people that you are crazily attached to, but they can still die. But it's not a bad thing. Like I say, you don't want to just hit the last load button. It's a case of shit, they're gone, man.
Oh, see, they did a war game like that, like for the PlayStation 2, I think it was. It was I forget what it's called. They've stopped making them now. You had 4 soldiers. You'd have like a sniper, a guy with an RPG, an assault rifle, and something else. And you'd send them out on missions. And if one died, you'd have to go and get another soldier to replace them. Operations something. Anyway, it was really good. I'll get the idea behind that. Yeah. Because you're like, oh fuck, man, I like that guy.
Yeah. It doesn't ruin it. Like, you don't, like, when someone dies, you don't think, oh, nah, fuck this, I've put too much time and effort into that guy. There's always, it would take 5 minutes to bring someone else up to that level. Do you know what I mean? It's a natural thing of just the same as when someone dies in The Walking Dead. You don't go, fuck this, I'm turning it. Well, you kind of do.
Yes,
but,
you do.
Yeah,
yes, you do.
You do, but like then you can still watch it because there's other characters, and as long as another character has a cool moment for you to get attached to them with, that's absolutely fine. But just overall, the gunplay looks loads better. But it's coming out in Game Pass day and date, and we've been on about this for a while, is the value behind it. And yeah, you took a look and you didn't really... What's your thoughts behind it? Because we spoke about this yesterday.
Do you know what? I had my credit card details up on the screen yesterday. I nearly bought it.
Yeah.
But my wife side-eyed me, so I was like, oh, I'll do it next month then. Oh, not just that. I mean, I was looking at the list, and you have 1 or 2 decent games on there. I don't give a fuck about Halo Wars. I don't, I'm not going to... Resident Evil, whatever that version of that game is on, and like 1 million 360 games, most of which we've had for free anyway.
Well, yes and no. You've got Halo 5. If any of this stuff isn't your cup of tea, then that's a you problem. But if like you got Halo 5, you've got Gears 4, Sunset Overdrive, what else? Halo Wars. You've got Cuphead, Recore, State of Decay going day and date. You've got Crackdown going in day and date. I don't know if Forza is, but they said every Microsoft first party exclusive, every Forza potentially is going to be getting added into this day one, and it costs like $7.99. So the way that I look at it is, I don't necessarily have this constantly. Like, Netflix has got so much content on it that you can have it and there's always something new to watch. That took 10 years to get to that point. The way that I'm looking at using it at the moment is, I can try a game. If I don't want to risk £40 buying a brand new game, I can risk £10, play it for a month, and then make my decision from there. And you get a discount on it. You don't have to buy it. You're not locked in. You can go and buy it full price or just pay another month. And who can't complete a game in 2 months?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you've still got everything cheaper. So the value is there. I just think it just needs time. It's only been it's not even been going for a year, I don't think. And they've still got like over 100 games. And I get that there are there's a lot of shit in there. But it needs to start somewhere.
It needs to start somewhere, but it's had a lot. When we first talked about this on Thors-Kin, I said to you, like, I'll let it grow, and I'll watch what games are finally thrown into it and stuff like that. And so far, they haven't impressed me at all. I'm quite disappointed. In fact, there are amazing games out there. They could have thrown Titanfall 2 in there. They could have thrown in
that. You're not going to get stuff like that because EA have already got that. That's the thing. Is that what you've just described is EA access. If you want all your FIFAs, your Need for Speed, Battlefields and Battlefronts and Titanfall, that already exists. That isn't going to appear in Game Pass ever, unless they buy EA, which I don't know why they just fucking don't.
in which case Microsoft need to step up, don't they? But I just no, I'm not impressed. But give it time, maybe. I like the idea of State of Decay, but I'd rather pay £40 and cherish a game than like £100 a year to play it every now and again, if that makes sense.
But it's not every now and again, though, is it? If you're paying £100 a year, you've got it. Like, it doesn't matter whether you've bought it or you're sort of like paying for a service to get the license. You're still playing it. So it doesn't really change. Would your opinion change if Forza Horizon 4, which apparently is going to be set in Hong Kong, is the latest rumour, if that came out day and day and you can spend, instead of going out and going, here, turn 10, a playground, have £50 and the game, the car pass and the season pass and the hooligan pass, if you could just get all of that shit on day one for £8.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would.
That's
a game I like. I'm quite snobby.
Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the thing. There's nothing wrong with liking what you like.
The game that threw me out was the Lacrosse 2016 game. I was like, oh, fuck, shit, man. I love me some lacrosse, baby. Sign me up. I was just like, oh, who the fuck?
But to me, once you've got Halo, Gears, Halo Wars, Cuphead, Super Lucky, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, Crackdown 3, and a Forza game in there, and if you threw Fable in there as well, to me, Jesus Christ, that would be a no. That's like all the important games.
I was talking to someone about was it you? No, it was last week, wasn't it? We were talking about games like Final Fantasy and things like that. And I've been kind of tempted to kind of dip my toe back into Final Fantasy, because
do it.
Talking about games that we used to love and things like that. I remember the good times I had with Final Fantasy, but I also remember the amount of self-neglect that came with that. So I really am tempted to get back into an RPG, but at the same time, I'm aware of the consequences,
the commitment.
If I go back into Final Fantasy, it might be like, yeah, guys, we haven't got an episode of Thors-Kin coming this week. I've got a really hard boss to train for. So yeah, it's a risky business.
I think you're right though. I think they need a few third-party games going in, like day and date of. Not this would never ever happen, and they don't need to because people would just buy the hard copy of it, but like a Red Dead Redemption or a Doom or some Bethesda game, the new Elder Scrolls when it comes out. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like something big like that of like it's in Game Pass day one. I think that's what they're lacking. But like I said, Netflix took them 10 years plus to get to the stage that they're at, to get to the point where it's like, can anyone even compete with this shit? Like, they're just on firing on all cylinders. And we're not even in year 2 of Game Pass yet, and they've got, generally, unless they're not up your street, quite solid games and a bunch of shit. So,
and Netflix have brought me One Punch Man as well. By the way, it's fucking awesome. You need to try and get a few episodes.
I will definitely.
I don't watch anime. I don't watch anime at all. But this is very anime, you know. But I really enjoyed it. Really fucking enjoyed it. It's so fucking good. And I said to you yesterday, didn't I? I said, superhero bar fight's over, bro. It's come and gone. Like One Punch Man, there'd be no competition. No one could beat him. No one.
Should we start slagging some bitches off?
Yeah, let's get on to Dickhead of the Week. Yeah, I've got a good one, which people will have seen a lot of. I can't remember if I put it on the Thors-Kin Facebook page, but there's a really fucking gross but hilarious video of some woman in a restaurant in America, Tim Hortons, and I've just showed you the video to this, and you were okay. So when Jimmy's like, he's quite sadistic in the way that he loves it when people are unhinged and just completely lose their shit. That's a great way of putting it, losing their shit.
Yeah.
This woman, basically, she's having an argument. You see on the CCTV, she's having an argument with the cashier in Tim Hortons. She leans against the wall barrier divider. She squeezes out a shit. She picks it up. What are you doing?
I've seen another video that I need to show you in a second, but carry on.
She squeezes out a shit. She picks it up off the floor and she throws it at the cashier. She wipes her ass with toilet paper and then she throws the toilet paper too and storms out. Now, I've been researching this story about what's happened to her. She's been detained. I think she should go to jail.
She should go to the fucking chimp zoo, by the sounds of it.
This was in Langley, which is, I guess, in America.
Yeah.
And she's detained. And the reason why she did that is because they refused her access to the toilets. I don't know what the problem was. Maybe there was we don't know. But they said she can't use the toilets. So that's why she shit on the floor.
We've all been there.
It's happened before, like where they've said the toilets are out of order and you made that joke, or shall I just do it on the floor then? You know?
Yeah, but then you don't actually go and do it on the floor. It's like that week when you had a bad week and you were just parked up by the parking barrier and you didn't move. Like you were one person away from saying the toilets aren't working, bro. Away from being that person.
I've been to that stage where you just see red, right? I've done it. You don't like think about the consequences. You just go ahead and do things.
Just take a shit on the floor and throw it at someone.
But I was going to add a but in there. There's a fine line, right? I wouldn't straight up fucking murder someone for not letting me out of a car park, and I certainly wouldn't squat a shit on the floor and throw it at people because there's an amount of dignity I have. Like, you know, if someone told me that my clothes I was wearing for work were inappropriate, I wouldn't strip naked and sit in my seat, like, you know, I'll run around the building. You know, there's certain things you just don't do. Then that's where the line is drawn, because it's a society. That's how the rules that we all live by.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna start doing shit like that, then yeah, don't send her to jail. Put her in with the fucking chimps at a fucking zoo, because that's how animals act.
Yeah,
right?
You think you can like sort out social disputes by throwing shit at each other? Yeah, here's a species that does that. See how you get along with them. Just
they'll
eat your face off. I've got to show you this video, dude. I've literally just clicked on it. It's this guy, and he's got a drone and he's piloting it. It's a Star Wars what's it name? Infantry carrier. I can't remember the code names for them all.
It's Can you see that? Ship, isn't it?
Yeah. Just how awesome's that? I wish we could have video feed on this show. But he's like, it actually comes down. The arms come down properly. They're going back up, and it's just like.
Drones are my favorite thing. I love them so much. Like, yeah, we'll get send me the link, or you can put it up on the social media as well. Get it up on Facebook.
Yeah,
people love that shit. That's fantastic.
So I saw a story this week that I always come with the serious shit, don't I? I was like, my faith in humanity and gaming fanboys just disappeared. So Xbox has come out this week with something called the adaptive controller. It's like something that you can plug loads of bits into. It's to let disabled people of any disability, whatever's sort of wrong with them, limb, mobility, cognition, anything like that, you can plug something into this controller that allows people to use it. And
so you can use it with your feet if you had no hands. You've got like pads and things.
Literally that, paddles, the lot. And it's like one of those things that you look at and if you're in one of those sick frames of mind that you've just finished watching an hour of Fail Army, where like people are going down slides in fucking wheelchairs, and you're like, you've got your sick sense of humor on that day. It's just like that's stupid. But at the same time, it's like no one fucking else is doing that. Like, hats off to the company that will put millions into R&D to allow people who are in real awful situations in their life to give them some sort of outlet to do that. Just, hats off to them. The reason why I'm bringing this up in a Dickhead of the Week section was the comments on social media of Xbox fans still excited for new controllers, yet they ain't got no games with games with a Z on the end. And I'm just like face palming, thinking, "Oh, you just don't get it, do you, kid?" And this is like hundreds of people that I've seen. It's got like 2 big flat circles on it, and people are like saying, "Oh, I'll put that in a tent, and you can cook some fucking tins of beans on it, making it look like a hot plate." And it's like, really? Are you actually?
I stepped into the thread on this, the comment thread,
yeah,
and the first thing I saw was someone tagged their friend into it and go, "Oh, look, now you can play." And I stepped straight back out. I was like, I can't get involved with this because, I've got disabled friends. I play Xbox with. I used to play Forza with a guy who's paraplegic. It's that woman getting headbutted by an elephant.
Yeah. I just literally spend all podcast just scrolling through funny shit. Yeah, it's just like you realise the people that this can help. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about a guy called Xbox Addict, Matt, who sadly passed away. This is for him, basically. Like, this is, veterans who have lost limbs, people who have been lifelong in a wheelchair, people with, it sounds stupid, but like really severe arthritis who can't fucking play a video game in a normal way. It's just like you're going to stand there and laugh at those people and the company trying to do stuff about it.
Put yourself in their shoes, right? So you've got no mobility at all in your upper body. You can move your feet, and you haven't got a carer coming to see you for the next 4 hours, right? You can't get out the house. You can move around your wheelchair, but you can't get out the house. What are you going to do for those 4 hours? You're going to sit there and you're going to try and find a way to entertain yourself, right? You can't move your upper body. So you can, if you make it easy for people to access some sort of entertainment to keep their brain going, whether it's TV, Xbox, Blu-ray, whatever is easy for them, people wouldn't like the life that they live. These guys, and some of them are fucking heroes. Some people, there are people out there that are severely disabled. They get up every day and go to fucking work, and they're fucking heroes in my eyes because life is so difficult for them. So that for you to take the piss out of this advancement in technology, just to make it a little bit easier for them, just shows how low you are. You're not a troll. You're lower than a troll.
Exactly. Like a troll can go back and forth with someone and be like, "Oh, this console's better than that console's better than this," and you can take the piss out of each other. But when you start bringing shit like that into it and like using that as a punchline, you've crossed a line.
there's no soul for you.
Exactly.
It's worse than being
racist. There won't be no redemption for you, boy.
Straight to the icebox.
Yeah, man. Shall we wrap that up there?
Yeah, we've got to, because I've got to go to a friend's for dinner in a bit. I've got to shower, shave my head, shave my bollocks. I'm joking. Well, no,
Cool.
we've got to shoot. But yeah, it's been great fun again as usual.
Yeah, man. Deadpool 2 talk, Black Ops, fisting Black Ops, like they're fisting consumers. All good fun. So make sure you give the video a like and a subscribe and a share and a thumbs up and all the. Oh what?
I've got. I don't know how it's going to work out and how popular it's going to be. Probably going to be a big flop, like my dick. But I've just opened up a Snapchat account for Thors-Kin, so I'll put the link on Facebook. If you want to join it, well, I'll just go around taking pictures of plants and shit. You know.
Don't follow Alex on Snapchat. I'm just saying. If it's anything like his personal account, it's horrendous.
It's not awful.
It'll make you want to die in horrible ways.
Oh god.
All right, see you next week, guys, and make sure you tune into Superhero Bar Fight on Wednesday and Thursday coming up.
Peace out, motherfucker.
Bye.